Good day to you. Today I have a Jinhao 9019 or 1919 or 9019, whichever you like, which is a relatively new release, which I happened upon whilst surfing the web one evening and thought I'll have a bit of that. Let's see what that's like. So just from the clip, appears to be modelled on some sort of Namiki model. I'm not sure which one. I've not really had any, or not had any at all. I held an Emperor once for about a minute, so it's shorter than that. So I don't know if it's based on a specific model or whether it's just a chunky pen with Namiki style clip, right? So let's take a little look. This is a chunky pen. You've got Jinhao Dadao number 9019 on the cap band there. Not sure what the Dadao is about. Maybe because it's the big daddy-o of pens. Yeah, let's roll with that. So the Jinhao 9019 Big Daddy, right? As I say, you've got a kind of Namiki style clip with Jinhao and the ball. Quite stiff, this one. But I mentioned previously I'm not mad on ball-tipped clips because they don't tend to grip my shirt pocket that well. This one does. It's stiff enough that it grips nicely. Then finial, you've got a nice injection moulded plastic point there, and same on the bottom, but we'll come back to that. Cigar shaped pen, chunky pen, and just barrel tapers down slightly in your traditional cigar shape. I've gone for the black and gold. These are available in some different finishes, I believe. So you got the black, red, blue, and then some translucent ones as well. We'll come back to that a bit later. Screw cap unscrews in 1, 2, 2.5, about 2 3/4, which is quite a bit for one of these, I think. Then you've got section which tapers down slightly towards the nib, then just got that little flare out there. Threads, not sharp. You'll notice them if you're putting your finger underneath, maybe if you're holding a bit high, further up the back here, you would notice that on your resting finger, depending on how you grip. But they're not sharp. They're not the smoothest I've ever had either. That said, section's pretty big, so you should be all right holding your fingers on there. You've got the number 8 size nib, which Jinhao released on their X159. This one is a fine, also available in extra fine and medium these days. Plastic feed, steel nib I should say. Got the Jinhao logo on there and the bi-colour nib. Another interesting thing, cartridge converter pen. It has a whopper of a converter in it as well. So, and it unscrews, bear with me 1 second. It's inked, so I'm going to be a little bit careful. So it's a screw-in converter, and it is a chunky converter to go with a chunky pen. Give you an idea of what I mean. So just to give you an idea, here's a standard converter, standard Jinhao converter even, and here's this one. So you're getting a bit of extra ink in this. I haven't measured it, but yeah, I mean that's looking to me to be double-ish the size of your standard ink capacity. It's a chunky pen, chunky converter, very nice too. Let me just screw this back in before I piss ink everywhere. because I can be a clumsy oaf from time to time. Yeah, so that screws in, chunky converter. Then you've got a nice metal converter turny knob and trims, and you got Jinhao just etched in the top there. So yeah, that's a nice nice little touch. May even add a little bit of weight to the body of the pen there. Metal threads onto plastic threads, but they go on smooth, and you've got an O-ring just in there just to cushion and seal. Seals nicely, no rattle in there. Some measurements of the pen. So approximate sizes. So you got your capped, uncapped and posted. It's not stupidly long. It's more in the girth that this is a bigger pen. So it's a big pen, but it's not drastically oversized in length beyond your usual X159 Mont Blanc, whatever you might want to, you know. It's not stupidly long, but it's girthy. You can post it like so. Posts fine, secure. Make it rather long, certainly. I wouldn't post it, but you can do. It doesn't back weight the pen or anything like that. If you want to post that, it's perfectly comfortable. Weight, it is inked, so give it a gram or so's leeway, especially with that full converter, full chunky converter. So I've got 33 grams of pen, 22 uncapped and 11 with the cap on its own. The barrel is 16 millimeters up here, just tapering down over towards the finial, but that's where your chonk is. And the section is about 14, just tapering ever so slightly down to 13 before it flares back out towards the nib. Got all that? Marvellous. Size comparison with some other Jinhao pens. Thus, so you have the Dadao, the Big Daddy, the 1919. And you've got an X159, so as you can see the length isn't far off. It's just the girth that makes this the bigger. 100 Centennial, X850, X450, X350 for a variety of Jinhaos. Let's see next to some other pens. So with some other pens, I've left the X159 in there just because, so you can see that comparison. Then you've got a Moonman P136 Sailor Pro regular over here, and just to illustrate the length that it's not that long, you got a Bennu Euphoria and a Leonardo Momento Zero Grande, and over here you got Twigsby Eco. It's for a kind of everyday pen scale. See how it writes. If you own or have owned, oh no, I've got a spider. I actually did have a spider. I'm not just going mental. I suppose I wouldn't know. But if you've got a, or had a Jinhao X159, you'll be roughly familiar with the number 8 nibs that they do. 1919. Big Dadao. Just iterate, that's not the proper name, but you know. With a fine steel number 8 nib on this one. Ink in here. Here's graph from Faber-Castell Moss Green. Sorry, I'm off sensor again. Story of my life. That was me. So, nice writer, decent flow, bit of feedback but quite smooth. Try it quick. No issues with the flow there. I will say it was a little bit dry out of the box. This is with a little bit of wettening up. I haven't gone to town on it or anything, but I've just given it some solid strokes, don't you know? Just to try and wetten that bit up a bit. I thought it was quite dry out of the box. It's still a little bit, it's okay, but it's maybe a little bit drier than I'd like. But that's personal. It performs, it writes, it's smooth, there's a bit of feedback, but not in an unpleasant way. So for line variation, you can get some. I'm not going to say it's bouncy, because you do need quite a bit of pressure, but you can get a decent bit of line variation out of that. And I have found that with the Jinhao number 8 nibs, because of the length of them, I think, because of the length of the tines, you can not flex up, but you can get a little bit of variation, well, quite a bit actually. Reverse. That is scratchy. But I've had worse. And it will keep going a while for you. Yeah, I mean, this isn't the wettest ink in the world, but I might see if I can get that a bit wetter. I've got a medium nib on order as well, so I'll see how that plays out. So what do I think of this? Well, let us zoom back out. Let us unlock the focus. I like it. It's a nice big chunky pen, and I like nice big chunky pens. It sits nicely in my hand. It's really comfortable. I mean, look, if great big girthy pens aren't your thing, you're not going to like it very much, but works for me. I find that just rests really nicely there. It's a good balance, whether that's the metal ending of the converter there, the turning knob, just giving a little bit of extra weight in the back of the pen. Not sure, but it would make sense. I find that balances really well. If you did want to post that, you can do, and you're not adding a daft amount of weight onto the back to back weight the pen, so I think you'd be happy with that if you want to post it. Nib performs well, as I say, a little bit dry for me, but that is subjective and personal. It works, it writes smoothly, reliably. What more could you want? I would say the 2.5, what did I say, 2 3/4 turns to uncap that is a bit excessive. I'd like to see that down about 1.5. Again, that's me. But yeah, well, look, you'd rather not have injection moulding marks on each end, but I paid £5, well, £5 something for this from AliExpress, and I don't know, maybe £2 postage. So call it £8 for argument's sake, £8 for a pen, including postage. of that kind of, you know, you got your number 8 nib, you've got everything I've talked about, you've got that converter, which is decent, extra size in the converter, you got the metal parts on it. I think it's good value, and I will put up with things like that. There's not a lot I don't like really. Just outside of what I've mentioned, it's a good, comfortable pen. It performs well, and outside of those couple of aesthetical little bits, I don't really have an issue with it. I think it's very nice and comfy. It sits nicely in my hand, goes in my shirt pocket, because it's not unduly long either, so it does still sit in my shirt pocket nicely. I think that's a good addition to the Jinhao lineup, and I'm sure there'll be all the rage in certain circles soon. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I'm sure I'll be getting a couple more. At least one is on the way. Have a good day, and I'll see ya next time. Bye.